This house behind me on Hill Road in Hyattsville, Maryland, is where 44-year-old Candace Craig is accused of murdering her mother and then recruiting her daughter, Celia Hardy, to help her dismember the body and burn it. Candace.
June 2nd, 2023, Landover, Maryland, a welfare check. That was all it was supposed to be. A relative had not heard from 71-year-old Margaret Craig in several days and contacted police out of concern. Officers from Prince George's County responded to a home on Hill Road shortly after 1 in the afternoon. When they knocked, the door opened. Margaret's daughter answered. 44-year-old Candace Craig. She appeared calm, cooperative. She invited officers inside and allowed them to look around. Room by room, officers moved through the house. Then they reached the basement. They didn't need to search much further. The smell hit them first. Investigators later described finding signs of decomposition, blood, tissue, and containers holding human remains inside the home. What started as a welfare check became one of the most disturbing murder investigations Prince George's County had seen in years. Margaret Craig was 71 years old, a mother, a grandmother, a woman who had spent decades working and building a modest but stable life for herself. She earned a pension. She collected Social Security. She owned a home where 3 generations of family lived together. Margaret, her daughter Candace, and Candace's daughter Celia Hardy. From the outside, it looked ordinary. According to prosecutors, it wasn't. As investigators reconstructed Margaret's final months, they alleged Candace had been draining her mother's finances for years, using bank accounts, credit cards, pension money, and Social Security benefits without permission. For a long time, Margaret allegedly didn't realize what was happening. Then she found out. According to prosecutors, she confronted her daughter, and she threatened to report it. That confrontation happened on May 23, 2023. Margaret Craig did not survive it. Prosecutors later argued Candace killed her mother after being confronted over the financial theft. They alleged she suffocated Margaret using a trash bag before beginning efforts to conceal the crime. But according to testimony, the killing itself was only the beginning. Celia Hardy was 19 years old. She was inside the house. Later, she became one of the prosecution's key witnesses. She testified that she heard her grandmother scream. Then silence. The following day, according to her testimony, she entered the room and found her grandmother's body concealed inside a container with a trash bag over her head. What prosecutors alleged happened next shocked even experienced investigators. According to testimony, Candace told her daughter they needed to get rid of the body. They discussed different ways to destroy evidence. Hardy later testified they purchased supplies, including gasoline and charcoal. According to prosecutors, they attempted to burn Margaret's remains outside and on a barbecue grill behind the house. Neighbors reportedly noticed the smoke. At one point, emergency responders came to the area, but the fire did not destroy what they wanted it to destroy. So prosecutors alleged the plan changed. According to court testimony, Candace later obtained a chainsaw. Investigators alleged she used it in the basement to cut her mother's body into pieces in an attempt to make disposal easier and conceal the crime. The medical examiner later testified that the remains recovered showed evidence of burning and mechanical dismemberment. Investigators later recovered cutting tools, cleaning supplies, blood evidence, and a chainsaw that allegedly contained human remains. Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy later said, "To say it's disturbing is an understatement."
A mother and daughter accused of killing their grandmother remain in jail. It's a gruesome story, one our Katie Barlow heard in court today. She's in Landover with the details.
This house behind me on Hill Road in Hyattsville, Maryland, is where 44-year-old Candace Craig is accused of murdering her mother and then recruiting her daughter, Celia Hardy, to help her dismember the body and burn it. Candace Craig is facing first-degree murder charges, while her daughter is facing charges for being an accessory after the fact. Today, a judge in Prince George's County said both women must remain behind bars for now. They're a threat to the safety of the community.
So just the thought of people who are in your lineage, people who are supposed to be carrying on your legacy, being a part of your demise is almost unbelievable.
The assistant state's attorney said that this is one of the worst murders she has seen during her time in office. Police say they were called for a welfare check by a witness who speaks regularly to 71-year-old Margaret Craig and said they hadn't heard from her in days. Police searched the house and say they found human remains on trash bags, along with blood splatter in the basement and more human remains on a chainsaw. Prosecutors say the two women dismembered the body, then tried to burn it on a grill behind the house.
I thought something was kind of suspicious because Memorial Day, they had their grill further down from the house, from the house. Usually have their barbecues close to the house. That kind of got suspicious. I didn't see nobody at the grill, nobody bringing anything out to the grill, so I didn't pay much more attention to it.
They had one of those barrel type grills.
Yes.
And they had the charcoal sitting beside, and then they had like a little table with the umbrella.
At trial, prosecutors argued the motive was simple: money. Their theory was that Margaret discovered the theft and threatened to stop it. The defense challenged aspects of the case and argued there were unanswered questions surrounding the exact cause and mechanism of death. But one moment from trial stayed with many people. Salia Hardy took the stand against her own mother. She described what she witnessed. She described helping afterward. Then she was asked why. Her answer was short: "Because my mother asked me."
Accused in a gruesome murder in Prince George's County takes the stand.
Candace Craig is charged with killing and dismembering her own mother. Her daughter testified today, recounting what her mother allegedly told her to do to help dispose of her grandmother's body. Fox 5's Lily Zhang joins us live from Upper Marlboro. She is tracking the testimony, the dramatic testimony that went down today. Lily?
Angie, Kenneth, good evening to you. We just wrapped up court about an hour ago, and like you mentioned, this testimony, it was graphic. We are hearing from Craig's daughter, Salia. Now, keep in mind, she has already accepted a plea deal to accessory after the fact, and she says that part of her deal was to tell the truth at this trial. We should warn you, some of the details she did share with the jury today, they are pretty disturbing details. So for background, again, we're talking about Salia Hardy. That is the then 19-year-old daughter. She testified that she heard her grandmother scream inside of their Hill Road home in May of 2023. She says that she was instructed by her mother, Candace Craig, to not go inside of her grandmother's room. She eventually did, to find Margaret Craig's body in a bin and a trash bag over her head. She also told the jury that there was blood on the carpet, but her mother would not tell her exactly what happened. Hardy testified in the past hour today that it was her mother's idea to burn the body outside of the home a few days later. She said it did not go as planned, but neighbors started noticing that big fire. So she says her mother ordered a chainsaw and then began cutting the body up the next day. Now, the state did not finish questioning this witness, so they are expected to resume tomorrow morning. At that point, we will expect to hear from the defense attorneys for Candace Craig. Guys?
Such grisly testimony there today. The medical examiner also testifying today as well. What did they say about the case?
So the medical examiner really called this a, quote, unique case simply because the victim in this case, her body was not intact by the time it arrived to the medical examiner's office. In fact, the medical examiner testified that the body was in 9 bags, to be specific, and she said that there was 67 fragments of remains that were examined. Bottom line, as you know, with these medical examiners and these autopsies, you typically find out whether it was blunt force trauma, a shooting, a stabbing, something that led to this death. She says that she did not determine any of that. There was no evidence of natural disease that caused his death. So ultimately, it was ruled a homicide by undetermined causes.
The jury listened. Then they deliberated. On November 1st, 2024, Candace Craig was found guilty of first-degree murder and related charges. In February 2025, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Salia Hardy pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact. After cooperating and testifying, she was sentenced to supervised probation. For Margaret's family, however, no sentence changed what happened. Margaret Craig spent her life building stability. She opened her home. She supported her family. And according to prosecutors, when she finally stood up for herself, it cost her everything. The truth stayed inside that house until one afternoon. Someone opened the basement door, and the smell told the story first. Thank you for watching Grimwatch. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. See you in the next video.